joined the ranks of the more than 1 million black-owned businesses.
I've worked 2 jobs ever since I've been here, basically, though. Ever since I've been here. I mean, about 50, I came here in 52, and about 53, then I started doing cars. I did that for maybe about 3 or 4 years or 5 years, maybe at the latest, and then I started the cleaning service after that. And then I just kept getting my first account. I had 2 accounts, doctor's office, doctor store's office, $100 a month, a B.F. Sawyer in real estate, $100 a month. So I just kept going. So finally, I did that for about, I went out looking for work every day and just kept building up. Got about 15 accounts or 20 accounts, somewhere along there. And then after that, then I finally got First National Bank of Southwestern Ohio. I went to them, and they said, well, the guy that I was talking to, he said, you can't do this job because you're too little, you don't know, it was 36 different banks that they had. And so finally, that went on for about a year, and I kept going to see them, warn them to death. So they finally said, okay, we're going to give you a trial. The guy said, it'll be your butt and mine if you mess it up. I said, well, just give me a trial. So they finally gave me a trial, and they was paying me about $17,000 a month for that job.
Well, I worked too, as well as he did. But I didn't go really to work until about 62 outside the home. And I did all the paperwork. And for some reason, we didn't go to jail for tax fraud or anything like that. But it got to a point where we did have to get a CPA to do the big work. And I kept all the records, wrote the checks, and that kind of stuff, as well as worked and took care of the kids.
There's a mold that they broke, and they'll never be another Udell Hightower, okay? When you look at his background, what he had to do as a child, I mean, he had to work in the cotton fields and, these types of things. He couldn't go to school. So, he's got a 6th grade education, and how he came in through the system was pure natural wit, okay? His ability to be a likable individual, but to work 18 to 24 hours a day.
Being raised by a Baptist minister, and my grandparents, they instilled in us that you had to work for what you wanted. Nobody was going to give you anything. And I tried to tell my kids this, and we just decided that we wanted better for our kids than we had.
You would have buyers on the other side just literally dog you. And he would have to say, I appreciate the opportunity, and maybe we can do business, in the future, and have to walk out after a individual, and I'm sitting with my father, say some very nasty things to him, as we were there on a sales call to try to get their business. But what that taught me was you have to be humble, and there's always a tomorrow. And a lot of times you have to outlast that person that's sitting in that seat, because if you don't mess it up, and if you learn how to accept a no graciously, there's always another opportunity for tomorrow. And those are the kind of lessons that I learned watching and going out and working with my father. At age 18, I negotiated my first commercial contract. And then about when I was 19, I decided that I was not going to continue to be the cleaner, and I wanted to become a manager and a salesman. And I put on a suit about 19 years old. And that was a little funny to my peers, just being out of high school, and the people that I worked with, and my brothers, because I wanted to eventually get out of having a mop in my hand, and that was a conscious decision to actually becoming a business owner and being part of the management.
It worked out for us great. Had a great company. Then we had, at the end, about 30 years, we had a company came down from Cleveland, Ohio 4 times to buy our company. Met us out here at the Holiday Inn 4 different times to buy it. So every time he came down, he'd up the price. So we sold it to him. Then when we sold it to him, then me and Steve started the construction company.
I wanted to be the boss when I wasn't the boss. And that's what I tell my kids now, is that nobody will make you the boss. You got to want to be the boss. And if you don't want to take on that leadership, you'll just continue to be a worker.